Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, sir.
You know you want some more, girl, so come on. You know you want some more, girl, so come on. Let's get low. Let's get low.
I'm just looking.
Looking at the ladies, all of them fly. I don't know which one I want, dog. I can't make up my mind, girl.
So won't you make it easy on me and take this drink, then hit this two-step with me. Let's slip to the dance floor.
Welcome in. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. A little Snoop Dogg getting us started because, you know, it's the right thing to do. We're going to be talking about Snoop later on. This is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I, of course, am your host, Jill Munroe. I hope that you are relaxed, that, you know, maybe you have a beverage, a libation. It's Thursday, my Friday, Thursday. And you are in a comfortable place because we have a great show for you tonight, as always. And we have so much to get into. Of course, if you're not already, make sure you're following us on all social media. Hit us up, KBLA 1580. I'm, of course, at Stiletto Jill everywhere. And if you want to take us with you on the go, download the app so you can listen to this show and all of the shows at anytime you feel like it. And lastly, you know, there is a visual experience to go along with this audio experience. Tap into the YouTube. The chat is usually bustling over there. And, you know, it's always exciting. Lots of commentary, lots of opinions. We love it. Of course, if at any moment during this show tonight you want to weigh in with your opinion, feel free to hit us up, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Now, let me let you know what we have on the agenda for the night. So we're going to be talking about Snoop tonight. He posted a very cryptic message on social media that says that he's giving up smoke. So we're going to dive into what that could mean. And could you imagine a world with Snoop Dogg and no weed? We might be headed towards that. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into Cassie's lawsuits against Diddy. I've read through the 35 pages. So we're going to break that down, get into some of those details, tell you who some of the players are involved, and set some of the scenes up for you. Get into that. We also have a special guest tonight. We're going to be talking with NBA champion Antoine Walker. That's in the first hour. We're going to get into Andre 3000. You know, he has a new album dropping tomorrow that is not hip-hop. He explained a little bit why he's not stepping back into the hip-hop arena. And also, you know, what we can't expect from the album tomorrow. I told you it sounds like haiku titles, but it's probably going to be higher level. And of course, more trending topics, more headlines. So, of course, there's always a couple of conversation starters to get us off. And before we go to our guest, I kind of wanted to talk about this one because I'm going to ask him a question about it. If you know who Kelly Oubre is, he plays for the Washington Wizards. And a few days ago, he was struck by a car as he was crossing the street. Now, following that, before he went to the hospital, he went home. But TMZ managed to obtain some video from his ring, not like a doorman, not the hallway, from the ring from his, I'm not sure what type of dwelling he's in, townhouse, condo, apartment, whatever. But it is from his actual thing of him coming back to his apartment. So, incident aside, is there any place where you can feel comfortable as a public figure in 2023? We have seen release of audio conversations over the past couple of days, all types of things. So, how do you feel about moving around? Because I don't know, just how does one get the video from your Ring camera? That is personal. That is deep. And to me, that is scary. So anyway, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines in Snoop later. Right now, I want to introduce our guest that we have on the line. As I mentioned, he is an NBA champion, an NCAA champion. Man, like the list is heavy. Drafted number 6 in 1996. An all-star, and he has amazing things on the horizon. Welcome to RSVP with Jill Munroe, Mr. Antoine Walker. Antoine, thank you for joining us tonight. Can you hear us? Antoine?
Hello?
Hello? You there?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Okay, 1 second. I think we might be having a couple of technical difficulties. So we're going to welcome Antoine in. Let me give you a couple of other stats regarding him. As I mentioned, NBA championship with the Miami Heat in 2006, drafted to the Boston Celtics in 1996, three-time All-Star, NBA All-Rookie First Team, NCAA champion. And listen, there is a lot happening, a lot going on. So we'll get to Antoine in a second. When we come forward, we will get into more trending topics, more headlines. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. So when we come forward, we'll get into Snoop Dogg and his statement and a lot more commentary, all of that and more. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So our guest, Antoine Walker, is having a couple of phone difficulties, so we'll get back to him once he gets that straight. But in the meantime, there's so much to discuss. So Snoop Dogg, tonight, well, not tonight, earlier today, actually, he put out on Instagram and Twitter a very coded, so to speak, post that seemed to be alluding to the fact that there might be a world without Snoop and weed that we are headed towards. He put out a post. It was black and white. It actually looked kind of sad, looked like somebody was in mourning. It says, after much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. Please respect my privacy at this time. Now, here's the thing. He said smoke. He did not say weed. So there's always edibles, right? And we also know smoke, like he could be talking about beef. I don't know. We'll have to see. What I do hope is that he's not bringing it up as, a prelude to some type of health problem or anything like that. Maybe it's just a promo for something else because, Snoop Dogg and weed go hand in hand. Listen, I can't imagine. He said it again, respect my privacy. Like that was 2 hours ago, right? So I feel like I'm not mad at it. Snoop Dogg and weed have been associated for his entire career, right? He debuted on Deep Cover, but on The Chronic, and it has been a part of his image. I actually feel like Snoop Dogg is a big reason why weed has gone mainstream over the past few years. He has made weed culture acceptable in a varied amount of places. There are people that probably in the 90s would have feared Snoop, ex-gang member, murder was the case, that are open arms and accepting him in the 2010s and 2020s. He's one of the most versatile entertainers as far as the type of paths that he can move through. So it will be interesting to see what evolves from that. Because here is the thing, right? Snoop doesn't drink the wine that he promotes. He doesn't drink any of the liquor brands, and he still promotes them. So I'm not really sure if it's going to necessarily stop anything, because we all remember the time when he used to be heavy in the game with it. So, shout out to Snoop. We still have our memories. We still have our anthems, if that is actually what's going on. Because as he just said smoke, and that can mean several things. But the fact that he followed it up again with just a photo of his face saying, respect my privacy, has us little concerned. So I'm gonna say that it's all positive and it's just wanting a different space at this point in life. But you never can tell. Andy,
I'm just waiting for the album to drop.
which album you think he's gonna do? A sober album?
Nah, he just respect my privacy. That's gonna be the name of the
Oh,
album.
that's what you think it is. You think that this is
100%.
an album drop? Because remember, 20 years ago, he said he was doing it at that point, and then 2 weeks later, he was on stage lighting a blunt.
Exactly.
So, and again, the words were chosen very carefully. Smoke.
100%.
So,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Y'all. Come on.
So, listen, Snoop, we see you. We know that you are marketing genius. And we're going to be watching out for it, right? We're going to be watching out. Listen, there's a lot more happening that we're going to get into. If you won the lottery, right, and you had a child, would you make, and let's say you're a male and you had to pay, obviously, child support. So when your money goes up, your child support, some things are going to happen. Would you make your child's parent sign an NDA? And what would you do if they broke that NDA? Well, listen, the $1 billion Megas winner, a Maine man, his identity is still a secret. He is suing his daughter's mother for $100,000 because he won $1.35 billion in the Mega Millions jackpot lottery, and he had her sign an NDA that goes until the child turns 18. I think that's sometime after 2030, and she broke it and she shared the information with his parents. She was set for life. Her child was set for life, but she opened it up. So he's demanding a 6-figure payout for spilling all the beans to folks on his newfound billionaire status. The non-disclosure agreement was strictly hush-hush. He was concerned that someone might try and kidnap his daughter. He didn't want his parents to know. You know, those things travel out. And so he had her sign an agreement where, her whole life was transferred. Her whole life was set up. But then she snitched. Is it that important to run the business to, Andy, can you come pick up my phone? To waste, when you are guaranteed, locked in, millions and millions of dollars. Sorry, we're having a lot of technical difficulties tonight, but, I don't know. I don't know. So here's the thing. I guess he's going to be getting back his own money. I don't know how much it really is going to impact her, but I'm sure it's going to impact his relationship with his child. Like, I wonder what he's going to do now, if he's going to move, if he went through all of that trouble and was lucky enough to be in a state that already has it set up, where you're anonymous. What's the next thing? Anyway, listen. We're going to move on topics while we work through our technical difficulties for our guests. Now, I know that Beyonce just came off the Renaissance tour. We know that in about 2 weeks from now, there is going to be the release of the film version at AMC theaters with a documentary. But now she is reportedly in negotiations with a $10 million budget to produce a show at the Sphere in Las Vegas. I think she would be the perfect person to bring a concert to that venue. After all, it is a 360 screened venue. U2 was allegedly given just that much, if not more, for their concert series. They were the first to open up, and they're the only act that has had a residency there so far. It's only been open for a couple of months. They end their 36-show run this February, right? And of course, the Sphere is operated by Madison Square Garden. And the CEO, James Dolan, allegedly has his sights set on Beyonce. So allegedly, Jay-Z and Tina Knowles have already toured the facility. And, allegedly Beyonce will have a little bit of free time now that Renaissance is over, the movie's coming out, and all of those things. She doesn't have any shows booked during that time period. Now, how much are those prices going to be? Because the venue only holds 20,000 people. So it would be extremely intimate, extremely high tech, and, you know, you get to see Beyonce up close and personal. After that, how much would you be willing to pay for a Beyonce moment? Up close, 20,000 people, 3D screens all around you. I'm imagining that, might be a little bit, If Renaissance tickets, what? We heard somebody paid as much as $13,000 for a ticket here in LA. I would imagine that tickets at the Sphere are gonna start around 1,500. I can't imagine it being anything less than that. And I'm talking that's for the cheap seats, the things that you're far away from, where you can't really see her and all of that good stuff. But, we will see. Beyonce keeps it turning. Also, her perfume recently debuted and it's getting mixed marks. I don't know. I think people live to kind of be contrary when it comes to Beyonce. Everyone doesn't want to seem like they're all on it. I mean, it has a hint of honey in the scent. All of that. Okay. So, listen. We're going to get to more trending topics, more headlines. We're working around some things. While we're here, let's talk a little bit about Coily Ray, right? So her dad, Benzino, has been speaking out on lives, doing a couple interviews, saying that she's not appreciative of what he did for her as a father, that he has supported her, that he has had her, for a good 5 months out of the year when she was younger. There have been reports, she reported actually, that she spent time in, having to live out of her car, homeless, going through these things, and he's refuted all of those claims. Well, Coy, she has recently come out and said that not only does she feel like her father sabotaged her in some form or fashion, she also feels that he is a little bit jealous, a little bit jealous. She said she doesn't want to be his clout kid. She also says that the lies have to stop. And he said the same thing, He believes that Angie Martinez manipulated her because they had a bad relationship back in the day when, of course, he worked with the Source and all of those things. So, it's sad that we continue to see these situations play out over social media and in interviews. You hope that the family could just come together and talk. He wrote on social media, "This has to be the most ridiculous stuff I've heard in my entire life on this earth." Let's hear what Coy had to say.
Him go online and just create craziness for no reason, make up things, try to make it seem like I just don't, it just has to stop. And if you notice, it has been a pattern for some time now, since he went on Clubhouse and did the whole Blick situation and leaked the fact that I had the record with Nicki, since he went and tried to downplay my album sales on Trendsetter, since he went and tried to, it just seems like every single time, instead of you congratulating me and be happy for me, you want to go online and try to use me to prove yourself to these people in this industry on why you feel like you didn't get the respect or whatever it is that you deserve. I don't want to be a clout kid. I'd rather us, again, just hit me offline, hit our family, and other than that, I'll never, ever, ever mention anything in any more interviews ever again. You don't call, you don't write, but you take everything to the internet and you get on the internet and you try to play this, you try to just whatever. Try to downplay me, try to make it play victim, try to make it seem like I'm attacking you, try to make it seem like my intentions is to hurt you, and that's never the case here. I don't have to get on here and lie about struggle. I don't think anybody wants to do that. But yeah, I think that's corny. I have a mugshot. I asked my mom. I'm not gonna. We don't even want to put my other family in this because I think that's kind of not what I'm here for. If I don't get on here and say something, and it takes me everything in me to get on live and do this, especially again in the most precious times of my career. But for some reason, these blogs, right, like my entire career, it seems like they've just been trying to
So I just tell them,
take over my story, take over my narrative, take over my career. And if I don't say something, if I don't defend myself, if I don't speak up, then I'm going to allow these blogs to tell my story, to tell y'all who I am. And I don't think that's fair to me. Yep. I don't have to speak on this ever again. He made it very clear that he never wants to speak to me again. Again, the interview was done in June. I haven't said anything since. But respectfully, I just wish that we could just kind of just keep everything offline moving forward. If you have anything to say, you can call Grandpa Tito. You can call my mom. Just like how you called me last week asking for what you asked for. You could have just hit me direct. Like, I'd rather you just do that on a respectful level of just me being your daughter at the end of the day. Like, we don't got to have a relationship, but I'm still your kid.
So listen, I think she has the right idea. Let's talk offline. Let's handle our issues. And if not, I mean, no one wants to say a father and daughter just never speak again. But I think that the pressure of the industry, of the social media influence, of all of these things that are happening are obviously weighing on her. People have different opinions of the same situation. And as a parent, you may be disconnected and not really understand what your child is going through. So again, I hope for healing. I hope if it's possible for them to get into therapy and pull things together, that happens. But I think, he should maybe be the bigger person. He's the father, and you taking it to social media and you think that you are defending yourself in a lot of ways. And a lot of times, especially when we're dealing with fathers and daughters, if you were absent for a certain amount of time, it's a hard conversation to have. And it's complex and it's sensitive. And I don't think mediating it through the internet is going to be the best approach for either one of them. When we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more, girl, so come on, let's get low. Let's get low.
Come on, baby, let's get low. Now you can fly the friendly skies with the SNOOPDOGGY. Now don't ask why, just keep looking good in the hood. Damn girl, you're so fly, we can do what you want to. You say you drink Alizé or was it Malibu? It don't really matter though, you remind me of the time when I had she kept telling me, doggy dog, I gotta go, so I let her get in the wind.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A city council member is throwing his support behind former Black Mayor Sheila Dixon for her bid for the 2024 Democratic mayoral nomination. 11th District City Councilman Eric Costello endorsed Dixon, saying, quote, City Hall has reached a level of dysfunction, end quote, that he never thought was possible. Last month, Baltimore City Delegate Sandy Rosenberg endorsed Dixon after backing Mayor Brandon Scott in 2020. Maryland Governor Wes Moore is making moves to address the future effects of climate change in Maryland. The governor, who is Black, has appointed Megan Conklin as Maryland's first chief sustainability officer. In addition, Michael Henson will become the first ever chief resilience officer in the Old Line state. Governor Moore is relying on both leaders to help make the state cleaner, greener, and more sustainable. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Get big savings and big rewards during Provember. Earn bonus points on brands like DeWalt to redeem for NFL tickets to regular season games and more. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees, after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Beloved Entertainment presents Sweet Spot Live with me, Angelique Francis, at the beautiful Miracle Theater at 226 South Market Street in Inglewood on Sunday, November 19th at 6 p.m. Join me with KBLA for short stories told live on stage with us, by us. Yes, our own storytellers straight from the neighborhood. Colorful and provocative live storytelling event celebrating our unique culture, our strength, our courage, our faith, and yes, our fire. We invite you to walk with us through the neighborhood, even run with us down our dark alleys if you dare. Just around the corner, there is laughter, unspeakable pain, secrets never told. But don't worry. The door is unlocked, and we're going to leave the porch light on. That's Sunday, November 19th at the Miracle Theater, 226 Market Street in Inglewood, 6 p.m. Yes, it is all happening right here in the Sweet Spot. Tickets available, sweetspotlive.eventbrite.com, sweetspotlive.eventbrite.com. We got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The City of Los Angeles Civil Rights Department and its LA Repair Participatory Budgeting Program invite nonprofit organizations to submit proposals to turn community ideas into reality. More than $5.4 million is available to make a difference in the Arleta, Pacoima, Westlake, Skid Row, South LA, Leimert Park, and Harbor areas. Don't wait. Proposals are due on November 29th at noon. To apply, visit repair.lacity.gov. LA Repair gives people real power over real money. Visit repair.lacity.gov.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I do not care for line dances, but I will hit an electric slide or two to Candy. You know, that's an 80s classic. You are locked into the show where we cover all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I, of course, am your host, Jill Munroe. So I got a tech update, you guys. Something's happening with our phone lines tonight, so we will not be able to speak with Antoine Walker tonight, but we hope to be able to reschedule him. I want to thank him for calling in and being prompt, and we will follow up on that conversation because it's definitely one I want to have. And being patient, yeah, because that was crazy. I do not believe that Mercury is in retrograde, but it certainly felt as such. You know, a lot happening. So thank him for that, and we will reschedule that. Now, there are still lots of trending topics and headlines for us to get into. So, Andre 3000, you know, he's coming out with a new album tomorrow, right? And it is not a hip-hop album. As a matter of fact, we don't believe that there will even be any words accompanying this. He's going to be playing his flute. We know that has been his instrument of choice for the past few years. He's traveled all over the world playing it, learning it. If you've seen that, he did a video cover for GQ magazine, and there's a little sampling of him and his flute getting ready. And so in this interview, it covered a lot of topics, but two of the things that I thought were most interesting were, one, he talked about why it has been so hard for him to sort of come back to rap. He said, you know, he's wanted to, but for this particular reason, he feels like it's not something that he really resonates with at this point in life. So let's hear his comments about that.
Do you feel like that played into decisions you made about Outkast too?
I think just in general, when it came to figuring out what we would do creatively and where my creative juice is coming from within Outkast, like there was a certain point where I just didn't know where else to go. You know, I didn't, like even now, like people think, oh man, he's just sitting on raps, or like he's just holding these raps hostage. Like I ain't got no raps like that. Like it actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like I'm 48 years old, and not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does. And like the things that happen in my life, like what do you talk, like I gotta go get a colonoscopy, like what do you like what do you rap about? You know what I mean? Like my eyesight is going bad. Like,
so listen, we've had this conversation a lot this year. It is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. We know that a couple months ago, Nas made a statement where he said he wanted to see more older rappers get in their bag and put out music. But for Andre, the other side of that is, I understand his point as well. Sometimes you outgrow things, and as you evolve in life as a man, as a person, as an individual, the things that may have captured your attention or been extremely interesting to you or really kept you, you know, focused, may have shifted over time. And so as you grow older, I mean, there are things that he could rap about, but I guess the idea, what he just alluded to, is he still doesn't feel passionate about that. I mean, he could rap about fatherhood, you know. He could rap about being older and going to get a colostomy. We don't know. I mean, rap is still a very young genre when you think about it. And this is really the first wave of old rappers, in the sense that really at 30, rap careers were pretty much obsolete. You have to think, when Run DMC came back in the 90s with Down with the King, right? They were it was like a comeback. It was like, oh, they could still rap. I think they were maybe 30, fairly young, right? So it's just been, I'd say, within the past 2 decades that we've seen rap careers be extended. And generally, if they were extended beyond that relatively short shelf life, they moved into other arenas, like, you know, LL Cool J is obviously more known to a lot of fans at this point in time as an actor than he is as a rapper. Same with someone like Queen Latifah. You know, Andre could have been that person. We know he acted a little bit, little taste here and there. But, you know, it's so interesting that he feels like there's nothing. I understand maybe being concerned because the shift that you are making may not be where your fans are, and a certain segment are going to be looking for, you know, whether it's Hey Ya, whether it's Bombs Over Baghdad, whether it's, you know, something else. They're not necessarily going to be open to accepting what a 2023 Andre 3000 looks like. Andy?
The crazy thing about it is, I think he should, even in his elder state, you know what I'm saying? I think he should talk about rapping about a colonoscopy and stuff like that. I mean,
I agree.
like create that shift, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of the reasons why. How do people really feel about Jay-Z's 444? I feel like the older people, you know what I'm saying, they embrace it a lot more. I don't know if the youth kind of embrace it, but I just think that there's still a place for rapping about, oh, I had to pick up my kids from soccer practice, and I had to make dinner, and, you know, I had a doctor's appointment, and I found out you know what I'm saying? I think it's important to talk about that.
I think so too. I think because, like I said, as the genre shifts and grows older, it you know, obviously it started out and most of the people were young, so it was money, souls, and clothes, right? Those are the things we know. Then later, you know, violence, and then it got into a bunch of different other things. So I don't see why it can't still evolve as such at this time frame as well.
But also, what I'm thinking is the music industry. I don't want to say it's dead, but it just, the more and more you hear about how shady the music industry is, and how artists are getting ripped off, and how, you know, this record label owed me money. But then, yeah, they go tap into this acting bag and they realize, yo, it's way more lucrative over here. Or I'm going to go ahead and do this comedy thing or whatever. It's more lucrative over here. I'm going to go ahead and create Raycon AirPods or something like that. It's more lucrative over here.
Start a podcast.
I'm going to start a podcast. It's more lucrative over there. So, you know, it could be that too. I think the music industry is actually pushing a lot of, you know, our favorite artists out of it.
I think that it is a combination of all of those things. And then I think, too, it's just also, you mentioned 444. And it's kind of like we talk about music now and how people consume music and what they do with it. And I feel that if you look at something like 444, right, or maybe some of these, it's almost like a book. It's a piece of art. You look at it, you consume it once, but then you don't go back to it. You know, people aren't saying what their favorite song is off of 444. They're not clamoring to go see that in concert, but it still holds value, I think, but in a different sort of way. When we come forward, we're going to get into the other reason why Andre considered not putting out music anymore. And it is an interesting commentary, especially when you look at some of the other stories that we've talked about lately and have coming up tonight. All of that and more, you are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This week at Target, you'll find different early Black Friday deals. Get fun deals on the latest tech, toys, and video games. Plus smart deals on small appliances, floor care, and so much more. At Target, you'll discover different early Black Friday deals each week. And get what you need for the holidays fast with free drive up or score free shipping when you spend $35 or use your red card at Target.com. Get low prices and early Black Friday deals only at Target. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we were talking Andre 3000. You know, he has released a new album, an instrumental album, all flute. It's titled New Blue Sun. And as I mentioned, that the titles of the songs, they actually sound like haiku, poetry, essays. You know, the first song on the album, it's 12 minutes and 20 seconds in length. I swear I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me. I don't know what to do with that. I am going to check it out. I have not yet, but we were talking about older rappers at this point in time and the music that they put out. And I think that the approach has to be different, right? Like, no, that doesn't mean that you have to be giving us, you know, financial literacy lectures on every track of your album because you're 40. But the substance does have to change somewhat, right? We want to hear what you've gone through since we met you. Certainly it's not the same thing. But in that, too, people still want to have a good time and enjoy the things that they loved about you and came to connect with. So it's about striking that balance. And not everyone can do it. Not everyone is looking to do it. Not everyone is still in that phase yet. So it's always fascinating to see what happens with this genre as the participants, you know, get up there in age, and so do the listeners. So the other thing that Andre 3000 mentioned was that, and it's something that really, if you've been an Outkast fan, if you've been an Andre fan, there have been discussions about over time, you know, about his relationship with fame and that it's not one of his favorite things in reference to the music making process. So that also weighed in on his hiatus. So let's hear what he had to say about fame.
I do have an urge because I want to create things. Like I'm happiest when I'm creating things. And I was talking to my manager and publicist. I had to really ask myself, do you want to possibly be famous again? Like, do you want to turn it up again? And I was like, well, I'll just put the record out and just don't do any press for it or anything like that. But then it's kind of a disservice to the music because I want people to like check it out. I want people to hear it. I had to find some balance.
We've been a little coy. You have a whole flute album now.
I wouldn't call it a flute album. It's an album, but I am playing wind instruments. Sometimes it's native flutes. Sometimes it's digital wind instruments, which I actually discovered right before we started recording the album. Some of the songs, what you're hearing me go through patches on the instrument, and you hear me figuring the instrument out. So it's new, which I thought was really cool.
So, I mean, you know, fame is a tricky beast. We've seen a lot of instances, like I said, in stories that we've talked about as of late, stories that we'll be talking about later on tonight, and how, you know, it can trip you up if you're not careful, how it can have you questioning yourself about things that you never would. I can't remember who said this, but I was watching something and the artist, I can't remember who it was or a producer, but they said the freest time that you will ever see from a new artist is their first album because they don't know any better. You know, whether it's they were in their bubble or, you know, they're being loved on from their community or they're just in their, you know, zone. They don't have the same hangups, the same, especially if, you know, you have an album that took off and did really, really well. We talk about this or allude to it possibly with someone like Cardi B. You know, the idea of trying to duplicate that success, the idea of what happens if I don't is something that a lot of artists aren't prepared to deal with. Andy?
You know, to piggyback off of that, I know I probably came off like I've been throwing shade on Andre 3000, calling him overrated. I'm gonna go ahead and take a positive spin and go off and say that, you know what, this is probably the beginning of something that may actually catch fire. You know what I mean? Like Andre 3000 at the end of the day for sure has his fans and has his stands. So they're probably going to support anything that he goes ahead and drops, right?
That's true, right?
And with this being an instrumental album, I mean, think about the avenues, or, you know, how he can capitalize off of this, right? Lounges, you know what I'm saying? Have it playing in the background or whatnot. Art gallery,
film scores,
whatever, right? Think about producers. You know what I'm saying? Now they're like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and drop even though I'm sure it's happened before, I'm gonna go ahead and drop an instrumental album. Or for that matter, musicians for that matter. You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and play my guitar all throughout this album or whatnot. So I don't know. He might be creating a new trend. He might be ahead of the curve. I would not be surprised if 5 years from now, you know what I'm saying, we see a whole bunch of artists just dropping, like, you know, just instrumental type music.
Well, we know that, you know, artists can sometimes be, you know, I see you, I want to do it too. As a matter of fact, when Snoop posted his commentary today, Meek Mill chimed in and was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stop smoking too. I'm going to go to Dubai and stop cold turkey. Meek Mill and the internet sometimes is the gift that keeps on giving. However, though, you know, if Snoop is inspiring people to take better care of their health, I mean, what can we say?
I mean, like you said earlier, you know, in a lot of ways, Snoop Dogg popularized weed, you know what I mean? So it's going to take somebody like Snoop Dogg to be like, I'm done, to really maybe influence people to stop.
I think so. I mean, because I remember watching, I believe it was Snoop. It was on his you know, he had a YouTube channel earlier. I can't remember what his show was called.
GGN.
Yeah, GGN. And he was talking to somebody one time, and he was discussing, he was like, yeah, this new weed, this medicinal weed, he was like, it's different. He's like, it's not like what we used to smoke back in the day. So you have to think that, you know, though it's been put there for, you know, guide rails and, you know, to help keep us safe and to make sure that a better product is being presented. At the same time, you know, some of this is grown differently. They're using different types of chemicals to grow it, to protect from things.
Just go ahead and say it. It's not natural.
You know,
there's no seeds.
It used to be, but now I don't know. You know, it's something else. So I don't know. We'll have to see when the test study comes out 15 years from now in the commercial. You may be entitled to compensation. You know, I expect that with a lot of things.
And
in
who
the
are they
future.
going to sue? The local dispensary around the corner?
I don't know.
Exactly.
The city law, somebody. They're going to find somebody somewhere, somehow is going to be responsible and take the blame, and it'll be somebody having a class action lawsuit. Like I said, it remains to be seen. At any rate, I will be checking out Andre's album. I like, you know, I like orchestras. I like the wind section. I'm not mad at that. I played the flute as a kid for a couple years. You know, I mean, that is back when I was in LA. Well, I wasn't LA Unified, but I think whatever school district it was in, that's when they still had art and music in school. So piano and violin and flute in school, piano outside of school.
Hey, we got something in common, just like Whitney and Bobby.
We got something. So you played the flute. How long did you play it?
I played the flute. I don't know when they introduced it, maybe like what, 4th grade or 5th grade, and then all throughout middle school, and then I left it alone in high school because I thought it wasn't cool.
I mean, you know, it is an interesting instrument to have to play. I know my lips would be sore. I was being dramatic, I think, as a child.
And, you know, low-key, when Future came out with that Mask Off,
right,
it made me want to go back and go grab my flute and be like, you know what? I want to make music.
I want to do that. Did you remember around that time period, Lizzo was playing the Mask Off on her flute in a video, and it was really, like, it was fire.
Absolutely. It
was fire. So, you know, shout out to the non-existent music programs anymore. They really were, you know, imperative. Here's the thing that people don't know about music, right? And this is like not saying you have to go on to be a musician or you have to go far. Taking music actually helps with math and those type of things as far as students. Students that engage in music tend to do better in math and have better scores. Listen. We're here on all types of topics here on RSVP with Jill Munroe. When we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics, more headlines. We're going to get into this Cassie lawsuit against Diddy. Like I said, I read the filing. We're going to go through some of that. We're going to talk about some of the rumors that have popped up over the years. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, I do. Simply put, you're the reason why, even though I'm real shy. Make me